everyone. This is Catherine Adams.
And Elizabeth Wallace. And this is Binary System number 13. And tonight we're going to be recapping Welcome to Night Vale, episode 75, Through the Narrow Place. We're going to go listen to the episode, and as always, we encourage you to listen to it, because when we come back, we're going to spoil the hell out of it. See you in a minute. That was cool.
Now, I was actually expecting something of an autumn episode or maybe a Halloween-themed episode. Are marathons an autumn thing? I don't actually run in them at all. So.
They kind of are. I mean, in San Diego, they sort of have them year-round because the weather's kind of always nice. But you don't really want to have them in the middle of winter because it's cold and uncomfortable. And you don't really want to have them in the middle of summer because it's hot and uncomfortable. So I think there's a lot. But it seems like I get emails telling me what races are going on in what areas. And there is something every week. So, yes, I don't know.
Well, we started out the episode with an announcement about donations, actually.
Yeah,
and you had asked me about the email, which I don't think I had heard about that bit before.
Yep. I got an email. They listed out all the information they told at the beginning of the episode. They're soliciting donations, and they've got several packages that you can sign up for where you start out at $2 a month, and it's a blood-packed scout. And it's all the way up to Eternal Scout, which I think is $50 a month. And then there's little incentives and things that get sent to you with each level that you do. So I guess they're, I hope they're doing okay. It didn't sound like they were desperately soliciting donations, but maybe they just decided they needed something a little more concrete rather than if you wanted to click on the donate button, that'd be cool of you. So, that's their attempt to do that. So I hope that works out well.
Yep. We also got another brief reading of a random page in the upcoming book, which was also fun. And I'm a bad fan. I haven't pre-ordered the book yet. Have you?
No, I haven't. It's coming out on the 20th. This is like every time there's some big, amazing, wonderful book that's coming out, I'm like, oh, I need to pre-order that. And I don't. No. And then I have to wait. Like Adam Warren's recent Empowered novel, I had months and months to pre-order it. And of course I didn't. And I go by the comic book store and they're out. And so I had to wait an extra week and a half to get my copy because I'm a bad fan. So don't be like that. Pre-order. We're going to pre-order too, even if we're pre-ordering the week before. We don't have much time.
Yeah, well, last time I pre-ordered something was one of George R.R. Martin's books, and it was, I think it was Dance of Dragon. I don't even want to look back and see how long that thing sat on pre-order, so it sort of soured me on the whole pre-order process. But then again, it was also a nice surprise when it did finally come out and I got a book.
Yeah, that's all right. That's how it usually works. But so we start the episode, and we have an announcement from Cecil that it is the annual marathon Through the Narrow Place in Night Vale. Everybody's going to participate because everyone is required to participate.
Yep, pretty much like Poetry Week or Fashion Week. Participation is possibly deadly and absolutely mandatory.
Yep. And this time have we ever heard about the Harbingers of the Distant Prince before?
No, we haven't actually. This is the first time. They're the ones that mandate that everyone participates. So they pretty much enforce the whole thing.
Yeah. And Cecil ends the announcement about that by saying the marathon will be this afternoon and will be the end of us all. And then we just go on into the next segment.
It's nice and cheery for such a looming outcome, I think.
Oh, yeah. Always. Relentlessly cheery. But then he talks for a while about Desert Bluffs. Desert Bluffs is doing bad. They're really not doing very well at all.
Yep. The Mayor Cardozo said they're shutting down a lot of city services like road maintenance and trash collection and tree monitoring. You got to keep an eye on those trees.
Yeah, because now they're going to be able to move and not be recorded or watched whatsoever, and that can't be good.
And this was the first time that I'd heard about what happened to Strex Corp directly in Desert Bluffs. It was liquidated by the quote angels. And they're using the funds to pay for operas in Night Vale, which, considering how well the last opera went and everyone seemed to have a great time, I'm all for that.
Yeah, but they said the angels laid off people, or as they called it, liberated people. And I'm just, it's Desert Bluffs. Obviously, we hate Desert Bluffs, but I'm feeling bad for the people because I don't think they had any more control about being run by Strex Corp than Night Vale did, and now they're just really, I feel like the Angels, quote unquote Angels, are hanging them out to dry, you know?
I think so. I mean, we've
like
already heard from Kevin about how bad it was when Strex Corp took over and exactly what they did to people who tried to resist them. So, yeah, they didn't have any choice about working for Strex Corp, and they don't have any choice about not working for Strex Corp. So, hopefully, but Cecil, what did he say? That he has feelings, but mostly it's feelings of triumph and disdain. Yeah. And he says more news about Desert Bluffs never, because he doesn't want to talk about them ever again.
No. Cecil is not feeling any kind of sympathy for them whatsoever. As you can imagine, he's going on to more important news like Kashia. Yay!
I don't think we've heard about Kashia in a long time.
No, we really haven't. And, it's interesting. We're part of the Citizens of Night Vale, or Night Vale Citizens, the secret group on Facebook, and you see really interesting posts go there every once in a while. And I saw this picture, and I didn't know that it was related to this episode. But if you go and look at the group, if you're lucky enough to get accepted into the group, what Cecil was talking about is that Kashia is entering that time in every cat's life where his skull is pretty much completely visible. It's just
like, yikes.
And so I see this picture last week before I'd even listened to the episode of that somebody had done in their mixed media class, and it's this picture of a cat, and it's got little spikes on it, it's got a cat skull on it, and it really looks good, but they were sort of like, maybe I should put a trigger warning on it. I mean, some of the people in my class thought it was really disturbing because of bones and everything. I don't know, I'll just be safe. And all these people are like, no, it's wonderful, you need to do more of this, and there needs to be more people like you. So they were very accepting of that.
Yeah, but what kind of art class talks about something being disturbing? I thought that was sort of the goal in most art classes.
Yeah, if you call something disturbing in art class, you're obviously doing it wrong. So, I have no idea. But he also talked about how Kashia's kittens are doing well.
Yes, and he mentioned his favorite kitten, which has possibly one of the best cat names I've ever heard, Mixtape.
Oh, that's awesome. I just heard that, and I'm like, I don't know why I think that's so perfect, but it's so perfect. And
perfect for a radio station, perfect for a cat. But he says that he's getting really big and going to be, a great big cat. I mean, like, hugely, unnaturally big. It's going to be adorable.
So he said he promises to give more news on Kashia at any time. If Kashia does anything cute, they will break into whatever important news story they're talking about to give you the news about Kashia. So at least he has his priorities in order.
Well, yeah, he started out that segment by saying that he's been getting a lot of messages and phone calls and emails and Morse code messages from people saying, oh my God, help us. We don't know how long we've been here. And that obviously means people wanted to hear about Kashia. So yes, Cecil has his priorities down.
Absolutely. We go from there into the next segment, which is the ever popular Hey There, Cecil advice column. And I thought this one was pretty good. They started out with a woman who's talking about how she and her husband, they have a bet. She believes that the sky is gas and distance, and he believes that it's painted plywood about 30 feet tall to hide us from what's actually out there. But that's not what the bet's about. The bet's actually about which of them looks better in a summoner's cloak. We've attached pictures. So, nice.
I think Cecil was very diplomatic about that one. So said, basically, you both look equally great. And you should be putting all your energy for fighting into more important things like that very disturbing thing about the sky.
Yeah, seriously. And there were a couple other segments, like one about a woman who's writing about her son, and he's trying on all these different forms, and she worries about when he takes on forms that can fly, and her rule is no flying outside, but she worries that he's not listening and not taking it seriously. And so Cecil says, well, he's a teenager. That's just how they do.
Well, it was one of the best. I think I should tell, parents that I know about this sort of message that Cecil had for them. Said, whatever the issue, support him, have sympathy for him, and most of all, keep him safe from others and from himself. It's his job to make bad decisions. It's your job to make sure they're not bad enough to cause real damage. Good luck.
That's good parenting advice there, actually. I really like that. That's very nice.
We go back to the marathon preparation. Everything's getting ready into gear. We've got all these people getting ready to start the race. You had Leroy, who playfully tried to hide until the Harbingers dragged him screaming back to the start line. And there's Mayor Dana Cardinal, who's nervously chewing a fistful of dirt.
But Cecil and Carlos are there, and they're all ready and enthusiastic, and they're wearing their matching Lycra shorts, and Carlos has on his running lab coat, which I'm like, oh my god, okay. There's so many different fan art bait in this episode, but Carlos in his running lab coat is definitely one of them.
Because they've had that before. They've had Carlos in his dress lab coat and Carlos in his most casual lab coat.
So now we need to have pictures of Carlos in all of his lab coats. I think that would be awesome. So that would be great for like a fashion designer to do. Isn't it funny how we're always telling people what they should draw and yet we still haven't contributed any fan art at all?
Not a bit.
To get on that.
Still working on that. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
excuse me. I'm not working on that. I'm thinking about working on that.
Yes,
It'll
exactly.
happen one day.
Only a couple more steps until we actually do it.
We had a few moments before the start of the marathon for Cecil to do the horoscopes. I love the
Yay!
horoscopes.
I adore the horoscopes. I thought the first one was for Virgo. Check under the bed because it will make whatever's hiding in your closet think that you don't think it's in there. So it's nice and spooky.
Good advice. Of course, we're both Capricorn, so I always listen to the Capricorn horoscope, and this one was, stop throwing your money away on expensive cars and nice clothes. The owners of those cars and clothes don't appreciate you throwing crumpled bills at them, and really, that's what trash cans are for.
The other two that were my favorite, Libra, all eyes are on you. Gross, give them back. And then the other one was Cancer. I'm not saying this is bad news, but the stars just say, ah! That was unexpected and kind of awesome. But
I've got the transcript in front of me, so I want to see what that one actually says. Yeah, it just spells it out. Arg!
Nice.
I thought it was going to be parentheses, incoherent screaming.
But we go back and we're ready for the starting of the marathon. And Cecil says, yep, there's the starting guns pointed right at us in case we decide to not run. And they go on through the marathon heading for the narrow place, which is going to devour everyone. Like they were sort of describing that, like, oh, it makes it sound so bad when you say it's going to devour everyone. What it's actually going to do is it's going to consume everyone until they completely disappear into nothingness. There I go again. That sounds bad too.
So Cecil decides to give everybody a chance to get going on the marathon by taking us to the weather.
Yep. I liked it.
I did too. I have to share with everybody the Tumblr picture that I found of Welcome to Night Vale fan art, and it's actually a very simple animation for Well of Night. So we'll include a link of that. I had this up while the music was playing, and it was a very ethereal sort of sound, I think, with like a sort of out of focus, but that doesn't sound right for audio, does it? So it's
I guess not.
with a guitar in the
still.
background, but then it's animation playing with the Well of Night thing. And yes,
Nice,
I'd like
very
this
nice.
one this time. What was it called?
This one was Black Eyes by David Wursig, and it's just, had a guitar playing and little synthesized stuff going over. It was like a ballad, I guess. Did you almost hope that it wasn't going to be a vocal one? Every once in a while they'll do a completely instrumental one, and for some reason most of those are my favorite.
They really are. I thought it was for a second. I wish we could get more of those. So I do like those.
But this one was fun. I liked it. It was good. We come back, and Cecil's telling us, they went through the Narrows and they came to a place. And did you say that you've got the transcript with the paragraph that he says, sort of describing everything that happened to them at the end?
Well, that was actually, there was something at the end, his way of looking at it, but the trip through the narrow place along the crooked path and into the deepening, and we found the distant prince, and we screamed and they cooed, and we wore black coats and had never existed. So it was
I loved the one line, all darkness is a thickening of birds. Creepy.
I do like that. So it was just, we went through the narrow place. So it was a great marathon. So
Yes,
that's back to
excellent.
Cecil being totally enthusiastic. But what I liked, and this is just another one of the things that the Night Vale crew does that is so amazing, is a way of looking at life at the end of the episode that just really strikes a chord with me. Let me see if I can get to it in the transcript. We will never be the same again. But here's a little secret for you. No one is ever the same thing again after anything. You are never the same twice, and much of your unhappiness comes from trying to pretend that you are. Accept that you are different each day and do so joyfully, recognizing it for the gift it is. Work within the desires and goals of the person you are currently until you aren't that person anymore, and everything changes again.
It's just really
Beautiful.
really lovely.
I like
It was
that.
great and creepy. A really good really good start to October, I thought. It was really good.
Indeed,
indeed. Yeah. That's all for the episode. What geeky stuff have you been up to lately?
Well, we watched tonight Return of the Jedi. So,
Nice.
But it was
nice. You said it was the unmessed with version?
Yes, actually, Nathan said that it was something that had been cleaned up in a sort of a fan-made production, sort of not reformatted or messed with or anything like that, just a brighter, sharper version of it, but no, not messed with. No extra effects, no weird things, no extra bits of CGI cluttering up the place. Just and in a way, the remastering that George Lucas did for the first 3 movies back before the prequels came out, Return of the Jedi, I thought that ending was the most successful changes that he did. Because it's not that, yub-dub sort of a song in the end with all the Ewoks dancing. There was actually a good song that I liked. Yes. And you had all the different views of the different planets that were celebrating when the Empire was overthrown and tearing down statues of the Emperor and things like that. So I did like that, but I like a lot about Return of the Jedi, and I seem to think that you and I watched that the most out of any of them on our VHS when we were growing up.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I mean, I actually like Empire Strikes Back a little bit better, but yeah, for some reason we did watch that one the most. It's funny what you were talking about in the end. I don't remember if this was on the Comic Issues podcast or on a discussion we had before the episode, but Anthony says he likes the original Yub Dub song better, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to say that you're wrong, but, you're wrong.
Well, it's definitely better than what I understand they did with the remaster that George Lucas did back when he wanted to change everything to match up with the prequels. So I believe he put Hayden Christensen in place of the guy who played Darth Vader at the first time. And no, that's wrong. That's
a terrible thing to do. Don't
mess with it. Don't put different Australian accents in the stormtroopers. And you know why Lucas did that. It's because he didn't want any of the people that he liked, any of the main characters, to be responsible for killing other human beings. No. They were killing clones.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Though I've heard if you watch the Clone Wars, the animated version, they actually, yes, they're all clones, but they all develop their own personalities. And, they have different haircuts and different facial hair and, tattoos and whatever. And that's, that kind of makes me want to watch it. That's an idea that I hadn't really thought of. So, at least
anything to drag it back to a little bit more interesting continuity. I remember Timothy Zahn's, Heir to the Empire, and the explanation for...
It was the Clone Wars. Yeah, it was the explanation for what happened at the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and why exactly things went as badly as they did is because clones were so unstable and that they could just go crazy from the fact that having more than one entity that was cloned off each other, the Force interacted with it very badly and they went insane. So
yeah.
But there's
a neat idea, and then, of course, they trashed all that with the prequel, so whatever.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But yes, did very much enjoy watching Return of the Jedi. It is a very silly movie in places, an elite squadron of stormtroopers basically getting, beaten down by teddy bears. So,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But still, the death scene with Darth Vader, and then that brief bit with the funeral pyre with Darth Vader, and the music gets to me every time in that scene.
Yep, that's really awesome. On I guess not on a lighter note, but I guess still on a sad note, I got to read a review copy of a graphic novel that's coming out in December. I may have mentioned this earlier. I only just got done writing the review for it. It is called Andre the Giant, Closer to Heaven. And it'll probably, I think the review will be up the same day this podcast goes up, so cool. I will make sure to put a link in there. But it's wonderful. It's told from Andre the Giant's point of view. Of course, it was written, very recently. So I actually talked to the PR rep who had sent me the review copy of the book, and I asked him if the writer, Brandon Easton, would mind doing a quick email interview. And so they forwarded on my questions to him, and I just got the response the other day, and it's awesome. He talks all about why he wanted to write the book and how he kind of captured Andre the Giant's voice and what he wants people to take away from the book. So it was, the review's fine. I wrote that, so of course that's fine. But seriously, the interview is really just hearing him answer all these questions, really a thrill. But the book is worth checking out. Comes out December 10th, I think. But worth a look. It was fun. I liked it.
Very cool. I think the only other geeky thing that I've been up to is I'm still watching episodes of Danger Mouse.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
How far have you gotten into watching the old episodes?
Not far at all. I mean, here's all this TV that I really need to be watching and catching up on, and not just the old Danger Mouse episodes, but the new one that I've never seen. What am I watching? I'm rewatching Joss Whedon's The Dollhouse. I'm like, I've seen all these before, but I can't stop watching them. I really like it. It's really good.
I'm enjoying the heck out of watching the old Danger Mouse. I saw a review because I think, the new Danger Mouse episodes, the brand new ones, just started airing in September. And I read a review, and they really like them. And they mentioned something. They said that, of course, we all love the old Danger Mouse, but a lot of it is kind of clunky and doesn't really stand up to scrutiny. And I'm like, the hell it doesn't.
Right?
I'm enjoying these so much, and most of it is Penfold's reactions to everything. I mean, I just recently watched Tiptoe Through the Penfolds, which was the cloning the Penfolds. In the car, yes. But then there's Four Heads Are Better Than Two, which is where Danger Mouse and Penfold both get a robotic replacement, and they each have to go accompany the robot version of the other one. And it's just so hysterical. I mean, Penfold's robot version goes haywire at one point and starts running around in the circles. Ooh crumbs, ooh crumbs, ooh crumbs. There's nothing that isn't pleasing about all of these old episodes. I mean, yes, it's all very simplistic, and, basically Baron Greenback almost does himself in every one of these episodes, but I am loving these.
I think the only thing that I'm sad about is most of the episodes. We grew up listening to Stiletto talking with a Cockney accent, which we've talked about that before. He was originally, in the British versions, he had an Italian accent, and it comes to America, and the producers are afraid that they're going to offend Italian Americans. So I'm like,
what?
Okay, fine.
That's a big consideration. All right.
Yeah, nothing against our Italian American listeners out there, but I don't think he would have minded his voice. But they changed it to a Cockney accent. These episodes on Netflix have the original accent, and it's fine. But I miss some of the Cockney accents that we heard when we were growing up.
I'll have to look up on YouTube to see if I can find the original, or the American airing of Four Heads Are Better Than Two, because that has the one with Stiletto chasing Penfold around going, I'll get ya here, come here.
Yeah, that wouldn't have sounded as good in Italian American.
It didn't, actually. No. It didn't even translate as well. No. But
no,
I mean, I'm sure, we're not claiming original ownership, even though we're saying the original version. Just original to how we heard it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's all for this week, so make sure to check out PixelatedGeek.com for piles and piles of podcasts and interviews and reviews. Catherine and I do at least an article every week. Catherine's always got a book review. I'll have, some little review of a comic book that came out that week or something like that. All of that, lots of fun stuff. We try to put up something every day on that site, and I think we're pretty successful.
I think we are.
Yeah, something for everybody out there. But other than that, we will talk to everybody in 2 weeks.
Talk to y'all later.